10,324. We're about 21 points high. You're with us here on Trading Hour. Manisha is, as promised, with us, and she'll take us through what's happening as far as the Kharif crops are concerned. They're hitting the market and the kind of prices that they're fetching. Manisha, morning.
Thank you so much for that, Prashant. Well, the talking point for many months really has been the MSP and then, of course, the implementation. And the assumption has been that the market intervention at the MSPs will lift the mandi prices. But we are far from that. Even as you have seen, the arrivals of many of these Kharif crops started coming into the markets. If you look at the prices at what they are trading right now and the MSP that was decided by the government, we are trading anywhere between 6 to 46% on the lower side in sense of various crops there. So if you look at soybean, that of course is down 6 to 11% down depending on what mandi you are talking about. MSP is 18. Maize MSP the prices are 18% less than the MSP, and that pretty much is the case for most of those pulses. So whether you're looking at arhar, moong, urad, it's all down between 25 to 35% on the lower side than the MSP. Same is the case with the core cereals. So bajra, jawar, ragi, all of that is down between 18 to 28% as well below their MSP prices. While of course there have been reports on how the state governments have been reaching out to the center government, but the procurement is yet to begin because the moisture content is higher than permissible limits for many of those commodities. And then of course in a state like MP, we already have seen 500 rupees over and above MSP in case of soybean and other commodities there. So that of course is the state that is also looking at the Bhavantar Yojana. But to discuss more on that, we are now joined by Siraj Hussain, who joins us on a phone line. Mr. Hussain, hi. As has been the case, most of these crops, at least 9 is what we have identified out of the 23, where you are looking at the prices way below MSP. And we are into thick of arrivals right now. What is your sense? What is your reading on all of this?
Manisha, it is not surprising because for many of the Kharif crops, the MSPs were raised substantially to bring them to the level of 50% over the A2 plus FL cost. However, what has surprised me is that Madhya Pradesh has not gone in for Bhavantar because the central government was banking on the experience of Madhya Pradesh last year, under which the Bhavantar Bhugtan Yojana was implemented for certain crops in their state. But this year, Madhya Pradesh has not really gone in for that, and instead of that, they have only announced that they will pay 500 rupees for soybean.
Right.
Now, if the prices are below that, it is not clear whether that will also be reimbursed. And not surprisingly, the prices are in the range of about 500 rupees below MSP. So it is, as per our expectation that.
So, just talking some more about MP itself here. So when prices are 500 below MSP and MP government wants to give 500 above MSP, how? What are we looking at then? Is the state government going to shell all of that money? Because we are looking at a record high crop of soybean, not record high, but clearly 22% higher than what we saw last year.
No, the crop is higher, but even last year when Bhavantar was implemented in Madhya Pradesh, we had seen that the arrivals in mandis were much less than even the registered quantity in mandis. So it is not that every farmer brings his produce to the mandi.
Sure.
See, the thing is that in Madhya Pradesh, the state government seems to have decided that they will restrict the payment to just about 500 rupees, which means it is not a real Bhavantar scheme. It is some kind of bonus which the state government is giving. Right. However, the state government seems to have restricted it to farmers who will bring their produce to the mandi. All of this is quite distorting in our view.
Mr. Hussain, what would you say then, the way we stand right now? Because much has been talked, and said and analyzed in sense of MSP and the government scheme here. But the way we stand right now in the thick of Kharif arrival season, what would you say has the government's MSP push? Would you say we already are looking at a failure here?
You see, I think the government also realized, and those who know these things realize, that it is not possible for the government to either procure all the commodities at MSP or even to ensure Bhavantar across the country in all the mandis. There are enormous operational difficulties in implementing any of these two options. Therefore, we have been saying, and Financial Express wrote an editorial recently, that if we really want to help the farmers, then a better way is to go in for some kind of direct investment scheme. However, I do agree that Niti Aayog has some reservations about that, because Niti Aayog thinks rightly that it should be coupled with some condition. There should be some condition which will make farmers eligible for this differential pricing, a direct investment support. But if we want to help all the farmers, then that is the way to go.
So, just getting a final word out, would you say that the MSP scheme clearly doesn't seem to be working for this Kharif season at least? What we can hope is that it works for Rabi, but this Kharif season, do you see it going as a washout?
I would imagine that in certain states, the procurement machinery is already quite robust. So I'm given to understand that Maharashtra will undertake procurement of pulses. So wherever actual procurement is undertaken, even though the quantity is going to be very small compared to the arrivals or the total production, there the farmers will benefit. But to expect that all the farmers, growing all the crops in this Kharif will benefit is a long shot. It is not going to happen.
Okay, all right, Manisha, as well as Mr. Hussain, thanks very much for joining in and bringing us all of those details. But let's concentrate back on a couple of stocks then. Gayatri Projects is in focus because they've won orders worth over 400 odd crores, just announced it to the exchanges. Mr. Sandeep Reddy, the MD of the company, is with us. Mr. Reddy, if you could just take us through the details of these orders and when does work begin?
Yeah, it's actually an order in Bihar. It's an EPC order which is funded by ADB. And it is implementing agencies, Bihar Road Development Corporation. So we will start right away. In fact, this is close to the Bihar-Gaya project, which we are already executing. So we have this cluster approach where we will execute projects. We have a competitive advantage working close to the projects we are already working on. So that's part of our strategy, how we have won this project.
Okay. When does it begin showing on your P&L?
It will start, I think, from the fourth quarter of this year. By the time we fully mobilize on site the next 2 months, and then we'll start from January.
Right. Mr. Reddy, what is the order backlog now? At the end of the first quarter, it was about 13,000 crores?
Yeah. Now it will be around nearly 18,000. We have won new orders worth about nearly 5,000 after the first quarter. So the order backlog is approximately 18,000.
For the full year, you had guided 6,000 crores?
Yes, yeah. we have more or less touched about 5,500.
Yeah. You operate in Telangana and Madhya Pradesh, etc. I mean, these states, you have projects?
Yeah, Madhya Pradesh. Telangana, we have a couple of irrigation projects, but Madhya Pradesh, we only have one toll road which is operating. We don't have any other projects in Madhya Pradesh.
Just wanted to get a sense, with elections around the corner, do we see a slowdown? Do we see
there's no connection to us because in Madhya Pradesh we are only doing a toll road, so it's already operating a toll road, so it doesn't matter to us. Telangana, definitely we have two projects where one project still land acquisition has got delayed now because of the election. So I think we see a slowdown till end of the elections in Telangana. But they are small compared to our order book. The entire thing is around 1,500 crores in our total order book of 18,000.
Just one quick thing. Dilip Bilcon, which is another player which has been executing very well, large order book, etc. They recently told analysts, etc., that they are now going to go a little slow. I mean, they're going to be a little conservative and not as aggressive as they've been. They'll focus on the balance sheet repair and things like that. I mean, should we take that as a cue for the sector per se? Because
yes, I guess so, because that's what we've been saying. In fact, we've been doing the same balance sheet repair from the last 4 years. In fact, if you look at our balance sheet, we have also gone into the asset-light mode. We have not bid for any HAM projects in the last 3-4 years. Our entire order book is completely pure EPC. And we have demerged our BOT portfolio to a separate list co, and so that we can monetize easily. And we have also a power joint venture with Semcorp, which we are planning for an IPO, so that once the IPO is over, we could probably monetize our investment there. So we have already started this process last 3 years.
No, could one turn that statement around and say that it's an indication that maybe growth has peaked for the sector?
No, not at all. Government has this. How can the growth peak? See, the sector needs a lot of investment. See, there's only a mode of investment. Earlier, the government invests and calls for EPC and that is our preferred option as asset light. But then government also went into BOT projects and hybrid annuity projects where you invest and put it. That will probably slow down because of the crisis in the banking sector, NBFC sector, and all that. Funding is an issue there.
So that is what I'm saying. So HAM projects were the preferred mode, right? So where the government was putting up 20%.
Yeah, but now government will go back to the old EPC. I think they have to do that.
So you're saying it will. So then, I mean, the point is right that it maybe for now things have the rate of growth has probably peaked out in terms of order. Yeah, would you agree with that?
Yeah,
for the sector.
Yeah. Order input, but EPC tenders are coming out because NHA is again coming out with nearly 35,000 crores of orders from December onwards. Tenders are on. So I think the EPC volume has not come down. It's only maybe the HAM has peaked out. So, but as far as we are concerned, we have enough orders for the next 3 years and enough to grow 30% annually.
Okay, Mr. Reddy, just before we let you go, how easy is it to access funds in terms of credit from banks right now for the company?
But we don't.
Okay, I think we've lost Mr. Reddy right now in terms of a line, but at least we've got an update with regards to the order book. 400 odd crores is what they've won in terms of incremental orders, and they should probably begin executing this December onwards. That stock is a bit under pressure, completely unmoved by that particular order win, down around 2% at this point in time.